Ready.
Wait, no.
Hello, Momologues fans, and welcome to episode 3. I'm
Woo!
Andrea,
And I'm Tanya.
and we are the brains behind Momologues 247 or Momologues 24/7 because
Love it.
mom, moms never stop and what stops
We
never
just keep
moms.
going every day. There's no there's no break. Even when you're on holiday, you
No, there's
are
no break.
always a 24/7 mom, right?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So we want to create a community of moms who are real, who don't have to feel pressured or what's the word I'm looking for?
They
Uh
don't have to feel overwhelmed. They just have to be
yes,
moms. And they don't need to think that they're not going to be good enough or not reaching the points that they need to get and not being the ultimate super mom because all of us are super moms.
all of us are super moms, exactly. So this week we are talking about our highs and our lows. We are also
Mm-hmm.
talking about an awesome good news story, record breaking for South Africa. We've got some very cool healthy habits for moms. And this is actually from Tanya and I, things that we actually do. Um, We've got some funny things that you maybe didn't want to know. This week, we're talking about lies that parents have told their kids. So, this is going to be
So
great.
definitely watch till the end.
So, let's get into it. If you are interested in sponsoring our podcast, please reach out to us on our details below, and we will be in contact with you to discuss sponsorships. All
Yeah, make
right.
sure
So,
you take those details down.
yeah. So, Tanya, let's start with the highlights of the last week since we've last seen you. What's been your high for this week?
So I have an amazing partner who has been supporting
Yeah,
this week. I have to say little things, little things that you just need to notice because everyone has their own type of personality and you have that sort of expectation, but don't just expect, just notice the little things that are happening.
mm,
Like it just makes it so much easier.
yeah,
Things that when he's taking me into consideration for certain things, making a cup of tea, making, turning on the fireplace when it's cold, just those little
yeah.
things was a high for me this week. It just gave me that extra bit of support because,
Amazing.
you just made it a little bit easier.
Yeah. And it probably made you feel appreciated as well.
Of course, of course.
Oh,
So I think what many women do, including myself, is we're looking for those massive mountains that are moving, but we're not noticing the little things. And then we get upset about why aren't the mountains moving? But just the more you
absolutely.
notice those little ones and the more we appreciate those little ones, more little ones happen and eventually they turn into mountains.
Absolutely. That's also true. So my
And
highlight
yours,
of the
Andrea?
week, my highlight of the week is that not just am I a mom to an awesome 7-year-old, I'm also an animal mom. And for the first time in probably, we've almost had the cat for 2 years now. He slept by me last night voluntarily.
Oh,
Ah, no, I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled because he loves my husband and he loves my daughter. He also loves the double bed of the spare room. He also doesn't he doesn't cat very well. I'll share some pictures that you can see. He sits funny and he sleeps on his back. So it was very interesting to share a bed with a cat that sleeps on his back, but it was wonderful. I absolutely loved it. Yeah, so Bentley boy slept by me last night, and I couldn't feel more happier at the simple gesture of the cat finally accepting me.
what was
Yeah,
your low this week?
I think there is something in the air. I'm convinced that there's something in the air because emotions have been overwhelming this week. And it's not just in my house, it's been everywhere. I feel like people have gotten more impatient. I feel like people have gotten less courteous, like more frustrated in the shops,
Where have you
um,
experienced it?
in the truck, everywhere. It doesn't matter where I've gone. When I went to go put fuel in, there was somebody yelling at the cashier because the queue was too long or something. I don't know. Like it's like really, really stupid stuff, you know? And it's just like they keep putting this like spew out there in the world. Like is it necessary, to be just
Nasty.
nasty? Yeah, like just putting all this negativity out there. I don't think nasty is the right word, but just putting this negativity out there because what you put out is what you get back. So
It's very
if you're
true.
gonna if you're gonna go out and be unreasonable or whatever the situation may have been at the store, if you're going to go out and be unreasonable, I mean, people are going to treat you the same way that you treat other people. So, maybe just some food for thought there. But honestly, like, I think everybody can do with just trying to be a little bit more kind. Even in my house, like, there was a
Kind.
lot of
Kindness.
kindness. Yeah, there was a lot of kindness since we last recorded because, like I say, like emotions have just been high. And I really don't know. I'm it hasn't been in, especially with Peanut, it hasn't been in reaction to anything. So I think she's just exploring new emotions and new boundaries. And it's exhausting. And I'm glad because she's not doing it at school. So it's not a consistent thing. So she's doing it in her safe space. So that's why I say I think it's just her exploring new emotions and pushing boundaries, and it's
But
exhausting.
isn't that also part of like growing up and experiencing all these new things?
Yes, but remember, we've been going through emotions since the beginning of term. So,
Okay, fair enough.
it's, yeah, I mean, I'm looking for that break and it's just not coming. But yeah, so it's
Is
it's
it a
been
girl
a,
thing or do moms with boys experience it differently?
I actually have no idea. We'll have to get a boy mom on the show and ask her.
Yes, we'll definitely have to, just to
Mm.
get that food for thought, food for food.
That's a, do you know that
Thought
that's
for
called a
food.
spoonerism? That's called a spoonerism. Do you know? Like one of the
No,
most
I didn't.
random things I learned in English was that's called a spoonerism when you swap the letters of the words around. My one growing up was meek wees instead of weak knees.
Love
I
it.
know. And I was so confident in what I was saying about my grandmother's meek wheeze, and I couldn't understand why everybody around me was laughing. It's anyway, so there you go. Grammar lesson of the day. That's called a spoonerism. What about your low light,
Okay.
Tanya? What happened with
So my
you?
low light,
Mm,
again, I'm a very busy person, not someone who sort of sleeps in the day, but on the weekend, I was absolutely exhausted. Like I
mm,
don't know where it came from. It was like the whole mood, the whole air, everything was just exhausting. And it's not like me. I didn't know where it was
mm.
coming from.
Yeah,
And I
you're
was
very
trying to go through
active.
my week, thinking, what did I do differently? But at the end of the day, I sort of just had to accept you're going to have to take a nap in the day when the sun is high and just be cool with it and
Yeah.
be okay. And it doesn't mean you've missed out on anything. It doesn't mean that I'm a bad mom. It doesn't mean, okay, I didn't get to all my chores. That's okay. I'm just going to take a nap and just recharge. And I think when I look back at it, just filling up the cup, makes
Mm,
it better too. And it's
absolutely it does.
okay.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I just had that hectic exhaustion.
Yeah. But you need to
So,
also remember, like I mean, you've got a new baby, and I mean, she's so beautiful and so precious. And so much has changed for you. So your body's still going through all these changes and things and adjusting and adapting, and now you're getting back into work, more full time, and um, your body is coping with all sorts of things on the inside, and it also needs some reserves, and I think that's where those attack naps come from.
I agree with you. And say when you're saying that, a lot of people have told me that, saying, it's
Mm,
going to be different. There's the baby, the routine's going to be different. But in my mind, it just has to just has to work the way it normally does. But
I don't have
obviously,
time for this anymore. Like, really?
obviously it does. Doesn't always work that way. You've got all
No.
this amazing plan, it's written out on paper. But no, it doesn't always work that way. And I think
All
it's just
right.
accepting it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, going with the flow. I mean, if you
Going with
go
the flow.
if you go with the flow and don't have expectations, you can't be disappointed. So,
Oh, all my cousins
mom
told
had
me that. They
mom
said,
had
don't try and plan. Just do it.
just
And I'm
do,
like,
just
what do you
be.
mean? Just
Yeah.
be.
Yeah. I want to circle back to something we spoke about last week, which was tantrums and
Yes.
meltdowns. And
Yes.
I actually went and did some research, and there is a clear distinction between what a tantrum is and what a meltdown is.
Okay.
So,
Can you
a
tell
ta
everyone?
of course I can. So, a tantrum, which I think this is what your nephew experienced, um, says it's a relatively controlled outburst expressing frustration or anger about not getting what they want or doing what they want to do. It's generally shorter in duration than a meltdown, and the child has some ability to regain control after the outburst. Where a meltdown is much more intense and a completely involuntary reaction to being overwhelmed, whether it's by emotions or sensory inputs or changes in routines. They have less control over their behavior, their speech, and their physical actions while they're having a meltdown.
So my nephew definitely had a tantrum. He had one yesterday again. He wanted to,
Yeah.
I don't think he was tired. I really think
Mm,
he didn't have an afternoon nap. So many things happened yesterday. He just missed his afternoon nap, and it was about like
mm,
5 p.m. in the afternoon. We were just having dinner and he was getting annoyed. He didn't want to sit at the table. He wanted to get off by the table, and then he wanted to have a sweetie, and then he was crying for his dummy, and it was just like
never
very
ending.
loud, very
Mm.
loud. Yeah. But then he got over it. As soon as we gave him some dog food, he can go feed the dogs, and he was quite happy.
Oh, she's gonna be like, did you put dog food in his bowl and be like, here you go, enjoy?
No, we just distract him. Just give him another action to
Woo!
do, something he
Okay.
enjoys.
Feeding the dogs, right? Not eating the dog food. Well, it could be a new diet for kids. I don't know.
Some kids do eat it though. They enjoy it. They'll sit by the dogs and have it. I think I was one of those. My mom always told me I sat next to
Tanya.
the dog bowl and had some some dog food. I'm sure you did as
Tanya.
well.
No. Oh, yeah, Tanya. Oh, I can also tell you my child was never left anywhere near dog food ever because I was like, she eats it, she's on her own. I'm out. I'm done.
You never had a dog pellet? Never. Not,
No, Tanya.
not even a dog
Stop
biscuit.
it.
Have you not
Oh.
tasted them?
I did have a friend once that came over and she they on top of the fridge there was biltong. And she's like, "Oh, what's this?" And I said, "It's dog biltong." And I carried on doing what I was doing. And she thought I was joking. So she took a piece and she started eating it. She asked me, she's like, "Why is this biltong so hard?" And I looked at her and I said, "Because it's dog biltong."
Hilarious. That's brilliant.
But dog biscuits. Mm-mm. Yellow. Mm-mm. No.
Maybe next time we should talk about the funny things we ate as children.
Yay. We can put that down as a topic suggestion. Okay.
So, next part,
Yes. Moving along swiftly.
moving along.
Yeah. So, as our viewers, followers know, we record in advance. So we are currently recording this on the 20th of May, and it was actually announced yesterday that Rayno Nell from Uppington has made history. He is the first ever South African and the first ever African and the first ever athlete from the Southern Hemisphere
I'm
to
goosebumps. Tell
win
me what?
to win
What
the
did he win?
2025 strongman competition, the
Oh,
strongest man
wow.
competition. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. So apparently he also used to play rugby. I don't know. But I'll post some pictures and some links in for you. And I mean, yeah, let's go show him some love and
Where
just
was the strongman competition hosted?
yeah, look, Tanya. Let me look.
Oh,
Um Overseas.
okay. The fact is, we have first
Yes.
South African, African,
Yes.
Um, what was the other
And
one?
athlete from the Southern Hemisphere.
Athlete from the Southern Hemisphere to win.
I
Strongest man.
promise you, there's something with like solar flares or something happening with spoonerisms and like
Definitely.
my words have taken like the Detour Express today as well.
Maybe we should speak in another language.
No.
Okay.
Mm-mm. All right. We wanted to share some healthy habits for moms by moms.
Yes.
Ta-da!
Yes. Yes.
And we wanted to just tie in again to the tantrums and the meltdowns and what do you do or what can you do when those are happening? So for
Yes.
me, uh, oh, let me tell you that Peanuts has come up with a genius solution for the sun issue.
Okay.
So yes, remember last week we spoke
What is
about
she
the
doing
sun.
to help with the sun?
She has a giant floral sun hat in the car. So
Oh,
now I
lovely.
chauffeur
Oh, lovely.
Jackie O to school in the morning, and I bring Jackie O home in the afternoon, and she sits there with her floral sun hat on that is as
Happy.
wide as
Happy.
like three soccer fields. But anyway, so we found a
Happy.
solution. We now have a floral giant sun hat in the car, and Peanut
That
wears
is
her sun hat.
fantastic.
Mm. So I'm thrilled that she came up with the solution. So
And she
that's
came up with it. That's even
yeah, she
better.
did. Yeah, she did. Well, I mean, I said to her, it doesn't help she moans about it if she's not going to come up with a solution. So we do try and push solution thinking on her as
Oh,
well. I
well
think she's
done.
old enough. Yeah, but I mean, oftentimes Peanut has meltdowns in the car, and yeah, so sometimes I just get completely overstimulated and I can't. I can respond, but I shouldn't respond. So in those moments, I've made up a game for myself because I'd rather be quiet and get to where I need to safely than be distracted and
Agree.
everything. So
Agree.
I've come up with a number plate game. So when you're driving and you're in a where you need to take focus off of something, have a look at the cars around you, pick a random car, look at their number plate, and start making a story with the number plate. So I can tell you that I do have a dirty mind, and I can't share any of the things that I have come up with. But sometimes, yeah, there's some really funny words that you can think of that start with like a C, for example.
Like cat.
Um, like cat. And well, what else is there? There's like teas, you know,
T for Texas.
for Texas, for Tommy.
Tommy.
Yeah, tomatoes.
Tomatoes.
Tomatoes, yes. Sometimes you can make a story with a tomato. And I think our number plates are now somewhere around the P as well, which could also be quite
Yes.
funny, especially if there's a zero in the number plate. But anyway, that's up to you. So play the number plate
Or
game.
Poland.
P for po. Yeah. What do you do, Tanya?
So in a moment like that, if I can't get away, or I would suggest that we try a bit of a breathing exercise. If you can get away, maybe just move to the toilet and just sit there for a moment, close the door, and then you can just get your breath back and get your focus
Mhm.
back.
Yeah.
Walking around in the garden is also a great one, because then you can obviously put your focus on something else instead of the very loud noise that's happening. Many times I sing in my head, but there's only one song that I know. I'll share it with you on an episode. It's an Afrikaans song, but that's the only song I know, and that's the song I would sing in my head because that's
Yeah.
the only thing that sort of makes everything calm. But if you have an opportunity, you can also do a bit of a breathing exercise. So there's
Okay.
different breathing things you can do. There's box breathing that you can do, but the one that I enjoy is where you'll inhale through your nose. And
Are you gonna do it
as you are
now?
inhaling, we're going to do it. I'm just going to explain to you how
Okay.
to do it. As
Okay.
you inhale through your nose, you're going to count. You're going to count to 6. Then you're going to hold your breath. You're going to count to 4, and then you're going to exhale through your mouth, and you're going to count to 8. And then
Okay.
you repeat that 3 to 5 times slowly. Preferably, you shouldn't be driving when doing it because you can get lightheaded. So you should be
Okay.
like sitting at home or, in a safe space, not in traffic.
Yeah.
But yes, that's
Okay.
one way that you can also do a breathing exercise. So we can do it together. So are you
All
ready?
right. Yes.
So I'll count you down. We're going to inhale through your nose and I'll count to 6. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold your breath for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale through your mouth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Sure, the exhale really takes it out of you, hey?
Yes. And we don't, in today's time, we don't really breathe. We're very shallow breathers, especially if
Yeah, we
there's a lot
are.
of stuff going on.
Mm,
So we can repeat this, but need to try and do it slowly. So you can even
mm.
have like a little stopwatch that you can look at and then inhale through your nose for 6 counts, hold it for 4, and then exhale through your mouth for 8 counts.
Very,
Easy little
very cool.
task.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
I I will definitely give that a go.
Yeah, and to our viewers who are giving it a go, give us some feedback. What do you think? And what type
Yeah,
of things do they do to deactivate the situation when
yeah.
there is a screaming toddler,
Toddler, child, person
child,
that you are responsible
person?
for because it could be a teen
Yes,
as well, you
correct.
know.
Got it.
Okay. So, moving along to something funny you maybe didn't want to know. I thought it would be interesting to have a look and see at what lies parents have told their kids.
Ooh, good
Yeah.
one. Good one.
All right. So I will be posting these as well, but I will read them. And it says the first one that I've got is my flatmate grew up on a farm and was told by her parents that their TV only worked when it rained. She believed this for far, far too long.
Imagine. Just imagine. That's a
Okay.
brilliant one.
Yeah. One mom said to her son, if you don't learn how to read, your voice disappears. This one worked surprisingly well because her son came down with strep throat and it freaked him out.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Started
So he started
reading.
reading.
Yeah. My wife's parents used to tell her that dandelions were illegal and they would get fined if she didn't remove all of them from the yard. That's one way to get your weeds done.
Yeah, definitely.
The weed police. I mean, yeah,
The
okay, no,
weed
that
police.
came out completely wrong. Um, we'll just fast
Got it.
forward. When my daughters were little, I told them that if they burped, farted, and sneezed at the same time, they would turn inside out.
I don't know if that's even possible.
I don't know. And one to finish off, I told my son, who is afraid of clowns, that ice cream trucks are driven by clowns. He heard that music
Oh,
and sprinted to his room and hid under his bed every time.
oh. Sometimes when we tell these little lies to our kids, we don't always know what's going to happen when they're adults. Just on that, I remember my aunt, we went to, as a family, we went to Jeffreys Bay
Yeah,
every year. So all the cousins were there. We're like 10 cousins. So it's a lot of
yeah,
kids that
yeah,
you need to watch over. And my aunt was so afraid that her youngest son, because the boys, I mean, the boy, so the boy cousins were all different in a year, so they in age. And then obviously the eldest one, he came from Jeffrey, so he was always in the ocean, so he was like, yeah, let's do it, and swimming, and they will go deeper and deeper and deeper. And she was so afraid that her youngest child will obviously drown, so she told
yeah.
him this lie about the sharks in the ocean, and she gave him such a
A
fear
fright,
that till this day he does not swim in the ocean.
really. What did she
Yeah,
tell him
because
about
he's
the sharks?
how they going to kill him, how they going to get him if he goes too
No, but
deep.
that's yeah. But see, if he goes too deep, so if she had stopped the lie with they can't eat you if you waist down. You know what I mean? Like if you're only up to your
Yeah.
waist, they won't eat you. But if they can see your torso, that's what they want to eat. Like that would have been better than, you
I
know.
think in that moment she was just so overwhelmed with all the kids and she didn't know what else to do. So that's the story she told, and till this day he doesn't swim in the ocean.
Yeah, so just to wrap up and to close off, I think I have one piece of a golden nugget advice that
Oh,
I was given
lovely.
this week that I'm going to share, and that
Mm.
is use your kids' excuses against them. So when you ask them to do something and they don't want to do it, next time they ask you to do something, just use their excuses against them and let's watch their
Oh,
behavior change.
that's a good one.
I
That's a
thought so.
good one.
Yeah, so this is
Yeah.
what I'm implementing this week. I'll give you some feedback next week.
Oh, fantastic. Looking forward to
Awesome.
it.
Yeah.
So, if you need to contact us or if you want to get involved, make sure to use our details that are below. And we're looking forward to our next recording or show or episode that is happening next week.
Happening next week. And it's the first time that we'll have a guest on the show. So,
Woohoo!
yeah. So, watch out for our socials and we will share some more information about our guest and what we're going to be talking about.
Fantastic. So remember, like, share, comment, and you'll see more. Bye.
Bye.